Just about ready. Hey, welcome. Welcome to Live at Lunch. So glad you can be with me. Hope you've had a delicious lunch. I've picked this up from Aldi. Not sure exactly how to pronounce that. If you know, well, do let me know, please. But it does look quite good. But not got my hopes up too high, I must say, because often you get these freezer things. They look really great, but in the end, not as good as they look on the package. Have you had a meal like that? Life can be like that sometimes. You have these dreams, these hopes, and quite sadly, life beats us up a bit, beats those dreams out of us. I know that I used to have this dream of being a professional sports person. Sadly, that has not eventuated, but you know, I think in hindsight, maybe that wasn't the right dream for me. And at the core of that, I was probably just wanting to live a life of significance. And so, yeah, I think sometimes it's a process. Our dreams might not be exactly right for us, and it's a process of finding them out. But even so, some dreams are good dreams, and it's sad when they don't come about. Now we're going to look at a story, an ancient story today, and just bear with me because I think it has a lot of good things to say about our dreams that have died, that we have given up on long ago, those things that are causing us hurt, possibly. And I think it can really give us a few key pointers and in the end give us hope for what really is possible, that our dreams maybe shouldn't be given up on despite appearances. So let's look at this story together, and please feel free to ask any questions, message that number in the chat, or just pop it in the comments. Sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram. And here's this guy, Abram. Now, keep in mind in this story that he is over 80 years old. And back a little while ago, God promised him that he would be a great nation. This is his dream. And God appears to Abram again and says in a vision, "Do not be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you, and your reward will be great." Sounds good, doesn't it? But listen to the hurt in Abram's response. Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son?" There it is, a son. What good is everything else? Now that's how you can tell a real dream. Nothing else matters. This one thing that I don't have. Where is that? Since you've given me no children, Eliezer of Damascus, a servant of my household, will inherit all my wealth. You have given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir. Then the Lord said to him, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir." Then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you'll have." Wow. What would you do if someone said that the dream you'd given up on, that actually you should still believe it, that you should still work towards it and hope for it. Potentially, you would think, no, that could never happen. But Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Then the Lord told him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land as your possession. But Abram still has some doubts. O sovereign Lord, how can I be sure that I'll actually possess it? The Lord told him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. So Abram presented these to him and killed them. Then he cut each animal down the middle and laid the halves side by side. He did not, however, cut the birds in half. Strange, but we'll get to this later. This is part of the story. Some vultures swooped down to eat the carcasses, but Abram chased them away. As the sun was going down, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a terrifying darkness came down over him. Then the Lord said to Abram, you can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land. God here is telling Abram a bit about what will happen. This is very interesting, this part, and we'll get back to this too. Where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years. But I will punish the nation that enslaves them, and in the end they will come away with great wealth. As for you, you will die in peace and be buried at a ripe old age. After 4 generations, your descendants will return here to this land, for the sins of the Amorites do not yet warrant their destruction. After the sun went down and the darkness fell, Abram saw a smoking firepot and a flaming torch pass between the carcasses. So the Lord made a covenant with Abram that day and said, I have given this land to your descendants all the way to the border of Egypt, to the great Euphrates River, a land now occupied by those guys there. Now, what can we learn here? Now we see here that Abram has a dream. But what's his response when God brings this up? I remain childless. I remain without a son. And what's your blank there? I remain without my dream job. I'm still without a house. I'm still without the success I've dreamed of, or whatever that dream is. You know, everything around me, my circumstances, all these years of working towards something, all these setbacks, I'm still without. My present circumstance does not look like my dream is coming true. Now, what happens in this story? It teaches us that it's never too late. Now, Abram does get a son when he's 100. And we see here it's never too late. We also see that we can be patient because there is a wisdom at work behind the scenes that's beyond our understanding. A wisdom beyond our understanding is at work. We see that in verse 15, for example, where God's telling Abram about what must happen and why it's not happening yet. There's things in the bigger picture that we don't see. And sometimes those things are being worked out. Sometimes the things are being worked out in us that we don't understand, like my dream of becoming a professional sports player. That wasn't quite right. There were things I needed to experience to refine that dream. So be patient. And then we see what's Abram do? He believes God. He's not proud and thinking, no, I'm not going to accept that. But it's a humble, it's a willing trust. It's like somebody, at an auction and wanting to buy this dream house, but falling short, not having enough money. But then someone steps in, gets the highest bid and gets that house for them and says, hey, this house is for you. I've just bought it for you. No, all you need to do is accept that. That's the way God works with us. Accept what God promises to us. And the thing here with the animals, let's get to that. That's a weird thing, but very significant. All right, I'm led to believe that this was an ancient way of really sealing a promise, like an ancient pinky promise, where you'd cut these animals in half and both parties would walk through the middle. And this would show that, well, if one side, one person didn't keep their end of the bargain, they were saying, well, let me be like these animals, cut in half. But what's interesting here is that it's only the fire pot that goes through the middle. Abram doesn't walk through these animals. And what that shows is that God is saying, no matter what you do, I'm going to keep this promise. No, I'm the one that will pay the cost. And we see that when people didn't live up to our side of the bargain, God sent Jesus to pay the cost of that so that he could still fulfill his promise to give us the great reward that he promised Abram, to give us the great reward coming to us for all whose hope is in him, all who believe that what God promises is true. And that's probably the final point, that we do have this great hope that's far greater than any personal dream we could have, and that we can be sure of that. So while we may be yet to see the things that we hope for come true, we know that we can trust that great promise of eternal reward, and we can hope in that, and really that overshadows any other circumstance that we experience in life. So I'd love to hear what you think about what we've shared today. I hope it gives you some hope. Don't let those dreams die. Be patient. Trust that great wisdom of God at work behind the scenes. And if you would be interested in having some more input from the Bible, I'm messaging daily encouragements at the moment. You can see that on the website. I'll message you a short verse and a short reflection or a question each day for as long as you want. Just go to the website, haventogether.com, to sign up for that. Other than that, hope to see you maybe tomorrow evening, Song and Story, Sunday, 11:15, or back next week for this segment. All right, thanks for joining me. See you later.